Good morning, this is Penny Ferguson, a living leader. I want to share with you, first of all, something that happened, many years ago, and then just talk about it a bit. I'd run a program for a group of teachers, okay? There was the head teacher and the deputy and a lot of teachers from quite a large secondary school. And on our program, one of the first things that we do is we ask people to talk a little bit about themselves. And we say, first of all, say who you are, not just what you do, but, I'm married and I've got 3 children and 12 dogs and whatever. And we get them to talk a little bit, and then we say, okay, so what are 3 things you feel really good about in your life? What's the biggest challenge or opportunity you're facing in your life right now? And then we ask them things like, what do you want to get out of this program? Anyway, we always, as the trainer, you always go first. And if you go first, then it's really good because you get an opportunity to, if you like, set the scene of being open. People choose to say however much they choose to say. And this is always a really, really interesting and powerful session. Anyway, about, I suppose 3 months later, I went to meet these teachers to find out how they'd got on, what they'd taken from the program, what behavior change and so on. And the deputy head teacher was fascinating. He said, I can't tell you how different things are here. We just have, our meetings are more effective, we get on better, we have begun to just do even a little bit of socializing outside. And he talked about it. He said, when we did that very first session, he said, I couldn't believe how much I got to learn about my colleagues. He said, I heard things that I just had no idea they had those things going on in their life. And I realized I didn't know them. And he said, I've been working with some of them for 14 years. And I realized I didn't know them. Now that's kind of scary because yes, things change as a result. When you get to know somebody, you know some of their strengths, you know some of their challenges, and it enables you to work with them more effectively. But it really shook him. And he said the transformation in the workplace was extraordinary. Now, I want to ask all of you, how many of you put on almost a mask to be what other people expect you to be? And this can be a real challenge. And I got challenged very early on, when I got asked to go and do a speaking engagement. And it was to about, 80, 100 people, it wasn't big. And it was to, I think they were about 80% men. And they were very much techie people from IT and things like that. Now, when I share things about leadership, I will always share about me personally, and I'll always share how I learnt it. I won't just say this is what I want you to take on board, but not tell them how I learnt it or who I am. And you could see a lot of people in the room going, oh God, too much information, we don't need all this. But other people, the complete opposite. And the feedback I got afterwards was a real mixture. It was a case of, gosh, absolutely amazing, loved it, through to really didn't need all that personal stuff. I had a decision to make because when it doesn't matter if I do a speaking engagement to 1,000 people, if I'm talking to one person, I will always do my best to be this is who I am. And I had to make a choice. Am I going to continue to do that, even though it may make some people uncomfortable? Or am I going to do what's probably more expected of somebody who is a consultant and teaching people, doesn't matter what it is, in my case, leadership? And I thought about it probably for about a month because it was quite an important decision to me. And I decided, no, it's really important for me to be who I am. And I'll accept that some people may not like it, but that's what's really important. Now, just ask yourself, how much more, and this is for those of you who maybe go to work into big companies, how much do you hide of who you really are when you go to the workplace? Do you behave as though this is what I think people would expect to see? Do you only say things that you think people might expect you to say? Do you hold back from being who you really are? It's a bit like do you choose to be two people? One when you're at home, one when you're at work? Because all my experience over the last 30 years of doing this is absolutely you will be happier, you will be more effective, you'll build better relationships, you will feel good about yourself, and you'll be more of an inspiration if you have the courage to be you. And it doesn't matter what the circumstances are. And just almost accept that there's some people, okay, you'll probably be able to have working respect for each other, but some people may not be comfortable with it, but it's okay. Don't let other people mold you into being something that you're not. Choose to be who you are. Choose to be the same person you are at home as the same person you are at work. Because believe me, being two people puts added pressure on. Because you have to make assumptions about this is what I think people want me to be. Those assumptions may not be right. You don't know that. So it took a long time for me to have the courage. And when I look back over my life, I can remember that it started from a very young age. You know, I can remember I went through the phase. I was a very painful teenager. I'm sure I gave my parents a tough time. And I went through a phase where we wear lots of makeup, you know, lots of black. I can even remember wearing diamond-studded, artificial of course, diamond-studded false eyelashes. You know, we dressed up crazily in those days. And I can still remember Dad used to say, you can't go out looking like that. What will other people think? So from a very young age, it was, you need to be two people. One, go out and behave and do what other people expect, and one, be who you really are. So I ask you to really think about, do you want to be two people, or you want to take all of you to work and let people know who the real person is? I didn't do it for an awful lot of years. Now I won't do anything else. And it's really important to me that I can just be me wherever I am. So I ask you to think about that, and think about, do you take all of you to the workplace, all of you when you go out and meet other people? Doesn't matter where it is. Choosing to be you is really, I would suggest to you, important. And who knows, you may inspire a lot of other people to be the same. So there's my thought for you for this week. I hope you found that a little bit useful. If you've got any questions, I say it every week, but please do send me in questions. So if there's things that you'd really like me to talk about, I'm happy to have a crack at it. So please do that. I hope you all have a wonderful week. For those of you on holiday, have a great holiday and just enjoy yourselves. And Ems, I can see you're on and you'll be leaving for Turkey today. I hope you have an absolutely wonderful holiday. My goodness me, you deserve it. So all of you have a great time. Take care. This is Penny, a living leader.